I wanted to do was just do like a little roundtable discussion with us. Hey, it's Uncle G from Audacity Donnie. Got my brothers and sisters, Marmar and Barry, also known as Wes, hanging out with us. They did a drive-by on us today and just dropped in on us, which is cool because we love that. We didn't know they were coming. About 2 minutes before they got here, they're like, "Hey, what are you doing? Where you at? We need to borrow some sugar." And so I was telling them that, one of the things that we're focusing on for February 2021 is preparedness. And so, I sat down this morning. I was kind of like, okay, so let's have a little just sit around the table talk kind of conversation and talk about COVID, the impact that it's had on you so far, because about this time last year is when we first heard those words, and everybody's kind of like, that's overseas, it ain't gonna really hit us, blah, 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 blah. And a year later, here we are still in the throes of it. So, how has it impacted you so far? And then how do you expect it to continue to impact you in the future? It's kind of where my mind was going up with it. So what do you think, Mark?
So it started off with when you think you're prepared, you realize how not prepared you are. We didn't know that the world would go and buy up all the toilet paper.
That's for sure.
Hand sanitizer and all the soaps and things of that nature. So not being excessive, but being ahead of the game on a regular basis, I think is at top of mind for us. And it's also impacted how we were used to just drop a dime, visiting family, but now we have to be more cautious of that for the safety of others who may have some elderly family members or health concerns, and just kind of keeping a distance and finding home projects to help with our boredom. Take it away.
I'm not bored. I'm fine.
Why not?
I'm 441 miles from home. I'm good.
Oh, you're not bored today.
Right.
Yeah, but over the last year.
Yeah, I think it's put a strain on relationships in general, family relationships, friendships, and what have you, because you do want to be a little more cautious about where you go and what you do. Rightfully so. I mean, COVID is real, so we have to protect ourselves in any way that we can, and you just don't know. So it's not that we should be afraid. It's just that you should be, you have to use wisdom and make sure that you're protecting yourself and your family, because worst case scenario, I don't want to take anything back to my grandbaby or one of my kids and and have that over my head and feel responsible. Like, okay, if I would have just did this, then one step further, wore my mask, or kept that distance to make sure that they're okay. So, sometimes it's hard, but it's needed to protect your family. You guys are probably the only physical people that we're around, and that we are not wearing our masks at right now, because we know where we're at, and we know
We're distant.
and we have our. Is that 6 feet?
I
think you're
probably
cutting
not
it close.
30, but
Cutting it close a little bit, but
we're all in the same bubble basically, even though we don't live necessarily together. I know we limit our interactions with anybody else. You guys are the only people that we really are around, you and your kids, at all. I'd like to be around other members of the family and stuff, and I just won't do it. I saw my dad for maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15, no longer than that. Once this year, that was Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and just to stop in. That was the first time this year I seen him,
Mhm.
and I'm like, okay, see you're good, everything's still good. I'm out, and probably be a few more months before I go do that again. What about you, Don? Come on, participate.
What about? I mean,
How has COVID impacted you?
wearing masks. Remember to taking it wherever I need to go, because there is times that I have forgotten, and you go, oh shoot. But basically, it's wearing it for whatever many hours I'm at work. That's could be a pain because I feel like I'm suffocating sometimes, but I'm getting used to it. Making sure you're washing your hands thoroughly and just those type of stuff.
So what things would you do if it had not been for COVID?
We would have went to Barbados.
Yeah, we'd have went on our trip. Probably.
We had that scheduled and paid
Visit
for
family more.
like 9 months ahead of time.
Oh, wow.
Remember
And-
your birthday? We were going to Virgin Islands.
Yep.
So
We were talking about going to Paris
Yeah.
for
yep.
For
Marlo's
your 50th
birthday. So there's a lot of things that have been impacted on the big thing, but the little thing was we don't do drop-bys, you know, anymore. We stay home. Everybody knows us, knows you better not just drop in on us because you liable to get here and we're not here. We're dropping in on somebody else.
We always
So-
tell everybody that too.
Yeah.
You might want to call before
You
you come.
better call us first. So
Now
now,
might be at your door.
yeah,
So
that's for real.
vacations usually do what for an individual?
Recharge.
Reset. yeah.
Recharge, reset,
Enjoyable.
enjoyable. Okay, so for me, I think Audacity Dawning buying this farm is a recharge for us because we get away from the city and we're able to come out here and it's so peaceful and it's relaxing, and even though there's projects and stuff that's going on, it's amazing because you get that break. So it's a vacation, but it's not a vacation, but it still gives you that sense of peace and the things that vacations bring to the table.
Absolutely.
So,
We live it on a daily basis. So.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's a peace of mind. It's not a bunch of cars blowing or your neighbors looking out your back door or into my back door. I mean, we don't have that problem here. It's very peaceful at nighttime, and you know,
And
you
when
can
we
go
first-
out whenever you want to, and you ain't got to worry about nobody telling me, "Hey, how you doing?
What are you
know,
doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Hey, can I borrow? Really?
It's the serenity is just peaceful.
Yeah.
You know, if I want to go walk out on the back those acres or ride the whatever that's called, the
Four-wheeler?
4-wheel, the quad, I just go and I'll just ride until I get tired of riding, and then I'll come and park it. But it's just peaceful. I can go and just ride.
I thought we was gonna move in a little closer and give you a better picture while we're having this conversation, and also have a better audio. We hope. So we were talking about the impact of COVID
Mhm.
on us in general. We were talking about vacations
Mhm.
and how being here now is kind of our vacation spot. For you guys in
Mhm.
particular, for us, it's almost like a vacation every day, at least for me, because I got stuff to do like you. I'm not bored. I got stuff to do. I have a full-time job too, but I'm still getting things done
Mhm.
in my off time, and I got projects for days. And as you seen, we did a little tour earlier today. There's a lot of projects still to do. Everything ain't done. It's gonna be a minute. But February in particular, it's not just COVID that has brought this out. It's just, remember what happened with the derecho. So back in, what month was that, do you know? September? August, September? October?
I can't
It wasn't
remember.
October.
Yeah.
Yeah, for them. Sometime earlier in 2020, the derecho went through Iowa and knocked out power. Derecho is high winds that just streamline, take out all things. Cedar Rapids, Iowa got hit really hard. They were out of power for several days. Iowa City, Davenport, different people got impacted by that. And so for some people, like I know they had to go to other people's houses and stay because they didn't have power for several days at their house. We've been through it when we lived in Virginia. We were out of power for 5 days, and we lost food. We were hot. It was June, July, 4th of July weekend, and we were down in the basement sweating like crazy. And so that's why, as we moved into this place, now we're a little more isolated, not just because the world is isolated, but because of where we physically are. We need to be a little more independent. And so that's why we're focusing on readiness and response this month. So part of that is assessing what would happen in an emergency. And so who would you call? Like if you had a personal emergency. Because in my mind, emergencies go like this. You have, and I got this written down because I was thinking about this morning, personal incident where you get in a car accident or something happens to you, right? Then you have a household incident where the whole house is impacted by something like a power outage or a tornado or flooding or something like that. You'll have community incidents where a whole town is impacted by something. And then you'll have regional incidents where you have a whole state or a whole 2 or 3 state area that is impacted by something. And then, of course, national incidents, which is what we're dealing with now with COVID, is not just us, it's not even just national, this is worldwide at this point. So nobody expected this a year ago, but we're living it now. So how are you assessing what you do on each of those levels? So, like I said, for you, Don, if you had a personal incident, you got in a car accident, what's going to be your response? Who you going to call?
I'm gonna call you.
You going to call who?
You.
You going to call who? I can't hear you. What if you can't get a hold of me? Who you going to call next?
Then I have to call Wesley or Marlo.
What are they going to do for you?
I don't know, but somebody will know about it.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you got in an accident and you try to get a hold of me, you can't get a hold of me for whatever reason, you can call them, and who are they going to call? They're going to try to call me too, right? And say, hey, Don's having issues. But really you need to contact somebody more local that can help you out.
I mean, I'd call 911 first.
You can call
if I
911.
If I could.
That would be a good one.
JD maybe.
Exactly.
Cindy. Yeah.
Exactly.
The people that you know.
The people that you
surrounding
know
you.
that are close to us, so that it's not just me
Mhm.
in case of an emergency. You know or think to call other people, any of the people in the neighborhood that might be able to say, hey, I'll come pick you up or take you to the hospital, or if you were here, they come running over from next door. That's why it's good to know your neighbors so that you at least have that ability. So when you call, they're like, who? You don't want that.
So if you call Cindy right now, it's like, hey, this is Don. She knows exactly who you are.
Yeah,
Exactly.
she does.
You
we've
have
talked on the
enough
phone,
relationship where she would, I believe, from meeting them, that she would actually come to where you are and try to help facilitate. Yeah, exactly.
And then the other thing is who do you want to know things that have happened to you? So let's say you got into an accident. Do you want everybody in the family to know about it? Or do you just want, notify Wesley and Marlo and your dad or whoever? Is that articulated anywhere? Is there Charlene, for instance? Would you want Charlene to know? Well, she might not be on the top of the list, but she might be on the list. So at some point, let Charlene know.
So
that-
you're saying maybe
Or your
to
boss.
have a prioritative
Yeah.
list.
To who to contact.
a call tree.
Yeah.
So basically, so I think as a family, we need to have the ability to say, and we kind of do, it's informal. I think we need to formalize it a little bit and say, okay, who's the one person you call if you want everybody to know anything about you?
Everybody has one of those in their family.
Yeah. Who do you call?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it because this might go.
No, Aunt Pee Wee.
Oh,
Right?
I was talking about yours.
I know who you're talking about. But Aunt Pee Wee will, we know she will let everyone know what's going on and make sure that the important people in the family know. And then they're like, if I get called from Aunt Pee Wee saying something happened, then I know to call you, Karen, and the rest of them and say, hey, do you know about it? And then you have your people that you call, right? So you call your kids or whoever. So that's a call tree. And so that way, you know, if we say, okay, initiate the call tree, then you know these are the people that I want you to call. And if you document it, then the expectation is when you get that notification, then I expect you to call this. And then that way, whoever it is doesn't have to worry about calling those people. So it's not all on one person.
So wouldn't it be kind of simple to kind of make it a group in your phone, and then
Absolutely.
you could hit that and send it out to everyone at one
It could
time?
be a group text.
Right.
It could be. So the thing is we have to decide what that communication
What
method
works.
is going to be for everyone.
Yeah.
So it may be that we have, like, one of the things I have in my phone on the contacts list is a contact called ICE. And ICE is in case of emergency. And if you call that number, it's going to call either Dawn or my dad.
Oh, okay.
And that's if you found me on the side of the road and I have my phone on me, and you can get in my phone, if you can get in my phone, 'cause you can't.
So-
Can't. But if you knew, take his finger and put it on the phone so you can get in there and see who his ICE contact is, then you would be able to. But also, if you look in my wallet, there's a contact list. Because we are so dependent on technology, what if your phone don't work? Whose number do you have memorized?
Nobody's.
Just
Nobody.
hers.
I don't have her number.
I don't have nobody's memorized.
Just hers.
So this is
My
Don's
dad's memorized
information,
hers.
this is my dad's information,
Mhm.
and then Aunt Pee Wee, Marlo West,
And so on.
Yeah. and even my friends out in Virginia.
Right.
So if
That's
you
a great.
find
That's a good
this,
idea.
then at least you know there's somebody that you can contact. Now, you could be just in the wallet looking and just trying to steal stuff, and then say, oh, throw that away. But it's in there, just in case. So just things to think about. And then, like I say, if it was a community thing, and let's say the whole area was flooded. Well, if you know a little bit about your neighbors, you might want to check in on them and say, hey, just want to make sure you're okay. You know, do you got power? Do you need anything? We've got extra of this or that and the other. Just, you know, do you know of anybody that needs anything? You know, because sometimes they know and it's like, oh, so-and-so's looking for a ride. They can't get out or whatever. You know, hey, we'll go help them out. You know, so just things to think of. And then regional would be if we knew a hurricane or tornado was coming and we had enough time, where would we go? What would we do? So if it was going to Iowa, well, maybe you guys come down here. Or if it's coming to Missouri, maybe we go up to you guys. You know, just having a good idea. And I've expressed to everybody in the family, hey, come here. If you don't have nowhere else to go, come here, and we'll take care of you for whatever until it's over or whatever needs to be done. So I'm just, you know, we don't think about those things until it's too late, and we're already in the middle of it.
I should have.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to get to the point now where I'm not waiting on the emergency. I don't want to have to run to Costco or the Sam's Club and find out that they're out of toilet paper or they're out of water or they're out of hand sanitizers because everybody went nuts. In Hawaii, they used to run out of rice because that's what everybody eats every day, every meal is rice.
Every meal.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You got rice. So
One of
you
my
go to the
tips
stores, no rice.
in this last Dureco also, because the world has gone to the waxes for scents.
Oh.
The oils, So you really don't have a lot of candles laying around. When you think, oh, I have candles, I have tons of candles. Do you? So when the Draco hit, you know, I'm like, I gotta check on the girls. I gotta make sure they have candles. I don't know if they do. I can take them some candles. And I started digging for candles, and I didn't have candles.
And then we went looking for candles and couldn't find any.
So you won't find them when you need them.
Right.
And so that's why you get stuff now when you don't need it and know where it is. Because my problem is I
had it.
I have it. I don't know where it is. I'll go dig and I'll tear up stuff for several days trying to find
He
things.
will.
He will.
But yeah. So we're going to go through a preparedness exercise on the 6th of February. And on that day, we're going to turn off the power, we're going to turn off the water, and we're going to live for 24 hours without power and water and assume that that's just the scenario. There's no other thing going on. And just see. We expect that this is going to be a piece of cake for us because we've already kind of been preparing for quite a while, and we've gone weekends out camping in the middle of nowhere. So we're fairly confident that it's not going to be that big of a deal. Now, March 6th, we're going to do it for a week. And then
I think there you'll find some.
I think we'll still be okay. So it's going to be a matter of comfort.
Right.
So, yeah, we'll survive. We're not gonna die.
I could do 2 days
It's
tops.
an adjustment.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, but just think though,
By
you guys
day
had to make
4.
an adjustment from the city to here. I mean, you've made leaps and bounds when it comes to adjustments as far as this farm because, I mean, let's face it, this is a huge place. You guys have a lot of land. But take the land out of it. I mean, just the house itself and in the garage and out there, just that. You guys have come a long way with that. So you've made that transition. So this is just another transition that you'll make that I think that you guys will definitely be successful in. But again, like you say, I don't think it's going to be as comfortable as yeah.
I also have a question in this preparedness, and I know you're probably just concerned with yourselves first, but eventually you'll probably, or maybe you will in this drill, but when in the case that you do have farm animals here and saving some of that livestock or
So
protecting,
yeah, today
if
that is we still have animals.
you do, I just
We got dogs.
That's
Right.
true.
Those dogs have to survive with us.
Right.
Yes.
So we got to make sure we always have plenty of stuff for them, water and food. That's all they really need.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we get livestock, then we're gonna have to look at the impact of that. Shouldn't be too big a deal because animals don't need electricity in general,
Yeah.
but our systems do. So if we have an automated system, for instance, if you have chickens that depend on the electricity for the door to open, and the electricity's out, and now the door doesn't open. But now you got to remember, I got to go out and manually open that door to let them out. Otherwise, they're gonna be stuck. Things like that. So
It's not a big adjustment, but
it's something that
it's
you got
something
to
you
at
have
least
to add.
know,
Yeah.
and add to your list. So the goal is to have a documented plan, not just for us, but let's say we have to leave for a weekend, which we plan to go to Barbados still this year on vacation for a week. While we're gone, we need something to happen, and people need to know what to do
Okay, so
in case, while we're gone. So either we have animals or we don't. If we don't have animals, it's not as big a deal because you can put the dogs in borders and have them taken care of. And then the farm itself, you have automatic watering systems and stuff like that. So they'll survive for a week. But if you have livestock, you might have to actually have people come out and feed them and do that kind of thing. And they have to know, where to get the stuff and, make sure you have enough on hand. And, if this one's pregnant, it might give birth while you're gone and all this other good stuff,
Yeah.
things like that. So just need a a contingency plan and say, in case this happens, then if you can't reach me in Barbados, call my brother or call my sister or call the neighbor next door and have them come over, whoever the case may be, stuff like that.
Okay. So, do you see this as being something that you would or I don't know, somewhere down the road, kind of train people to do or prepare for worst case scenario?
Ultimately, I'd like for at least our family to
That's where
exercise
my brain
together.
was, is like with
You know,
family members.
let's all take a weekend and say that we have this thing where, let's say we have a communications outage.
That's what I was.
Let's say all our cell phones broke.
Mm-hmm.
So what other means of communication do we have? Well, if you got internet, maybe you can get and do messenger, laptop, emails, stuff. Well, do we have each other's email addresses? Do we have each other's phone numbers that it is not in our phones?
Yeah, correct.
Because if I had to call my brother right this minute
Right.
without my cell phone, I got issues. I don't have it. Now I do actually have everybody's number written down somewhere in the house.
It's not here anymore.
It's just not here, and I can't remember numbers like I used to. You know, I used to be able to rattle them off. Not
Right.
anymore.
Right.
The biggest problem I have is finding out where that list is. That list is in the house somewhere, and if I have to, I'll make another list.
Right.
But that's not just phone numbers. That's bills. That's who who manages the electricity, the water, the internet service. All of that information, my bank accounts, and how everything is managed needs to be documented somewhere. And I have a document that explains pretty much everything. I got one document that you could just mess me up forever if you got a hold of it. By itself, no. But in combination with one other document, oh yeah, I'm done. So you got everything I own, basically. And that's just in case something happens to me, then Dawn won't be completely at a loss. She at least has this, and she, even if she doesn't understand it herself, she can give it to somebody else that does, and say, okay, here's what we need to do. You need to pay the mortgage on this house. You need to pay the taxes on this one, things like that, so that you don't lose anything or get swindled out of anything, because it also got the values of what things are, So if somebody says, well, I'll give you $500 for that, no, it's worth a lot more than that. And not just take it because you think, well, that sounds like a good deal to me.
Sounds good, yeah.
So stuff like that. But yeah, I'd like to get the whole family, those that want to. If you don't want to, that's fine.
Can you imagine all of us out here and no cell phones and?
We would be okay.
Well, I think overall,
So
I
long
think,
as
He's
I
talking
think-
about
younger.
he means like in a drill sense, right?
yeah, I
And
think it would
trying
be an
to-
experience
yeah.
for everyone, and
The younger ones would lose their mind.
I think initially, in the beginning, I think that it'd be a shell shock for them. But I believe that as it went on, like the next day, they
would learn that
they would
there's other
learn.
ways of.
Yeah, because there's so
Getting
many
better.
other different things that you can be doing. It's just that this little little box
Device.
right here, this device, it takes so much of our time and things that we should be. I mean, that's how he's got most of his stuff done. Is he's had to set this little.
Oh, I don't
Down.
have that issue. I'm
Yeah.
not on my phone. Like, I'm not glued.
I mean, but, yeah.
Unless I'm on the biggest time I'm on my phone is on YouTube looking up other stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How to do this.
I do a
how
lot
to
of
do that.
YouTube. How no.
But as
how-
far as playing games and stuff on the phone and
Yeah.
all that, I used to, and I still do occasionally. But most of the time, I'm trying to learn something.
I know Facebook, Instagram, all those different avenues take up a lot of people's time.
Oh yeah, TikTok.
Speaking of TikTok,
I learned a lot on TikTok, actually.
Well, but I didn't even want TikTok on my phone until somebody said, "Oh, look, I'm TikToking." And I'm like, okay, well, since you're doing it, I'll go ahead and get. Now I don't do TikToks, but I watch TikToks. But what I don't like is how you start. okay, I see one now. I start scrolling. You can spend hours
Strolling.
through just looking at other people doing stupid stuff.
Yep, that's what Karen and I said. Is like, can you believe we never thought we'd even have a TikTok account, and now we're spending hours scrolling.
Right.
But yeah, that's another just self-discipline. But there's a lot of educational things if you use it for that purpose as
Right.
well. And I'm an entertainer, so I'm bringing entertainment to someone. Is the twist that I put on it.
And so we're gonna put up a little place for TikTok where you can subscribe to.
At Marlo Reed.
There you go, at Marlo Reed, and check her out. She does some funny stuff. Cracks me up for sure. But yeah, I think you're right. I think initially I think you might be surprised. I think
At how well they adjust.
yeah.
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 I think you
I
might
think
be
so.
surprised because it's going to be a different environment.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to be like, oh, there's no internet, there's no games. Yeah, you're right. But look at all this land,
Mm-hmm.
and look at the quad, and look at the tractor, and look at this that you can do, and go play with the drone, and things like that.
The pond.
Pond, and go fishing, and go play in the woods, and here, cut something, or break something, or throw a rock as far as you can.
Archery.
Yeah.
Hold on, just wait. What do you hear? Nothing. Exactly.
And mind you, I would like to add, when you do hear something, it's still amazing.
It's nature, though.
It's still peaceful.
Yeah.
It's still like the rooster in the morning, the cows mooing that we heard.
Right.
We heard coyotes the first night we got here, which you would
Right.
normally think, oh my God, but they're in a distance mostly. And just to hear that sound, that's just nature, and it's peaceful. And I remember friends trying to tell me about it before, but until you experience it, you just don't get the full understanding.
I remember I put the lights on the tractor,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go check these lights out, make sure that they work. So I put the lights on the front. I'm driving back in the backfield, and mind you, they have like sectors, I would call it, of fencing that's closed in. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got about to the second one, and I heard those wolves or whatever it was back there. And I was like, turned that tractor around. I was like, yeah, that's lights work. I'm good. Going back.
And Don, you and I, when we were on the quad,
Yeah.
we were on the quad, and we heard gunshots, boom. Someone's hunting out here.
Yeah.
Let's get back home.
You will hear gunshots out there, but that doesn't even bother me. It's just
Well, it doesn't now.
Yeah.
But it's like when I first heard them, it's like, because we were sitting on the back porch, and I started hearing guns. I said, "Don't you hear that?" It's like, so, but I forgot. I mean, you just have to realize in the city, you hear that many gunshots, something's really
Something's
going
going down.
on. It's bad. So you hear that out here, and it's like, okay, I had to go back to when I was a kid, and you hear gunshots. Somebody's hunting or something like that, or
Or just-
But
target
even
practice.
yet
Target practice.
still, I was like,
So-
I don't want to be mistaken for a deer or whatever it is
Yeah.
that they're hunting
Well,
for.
that's why they
either.
tell you to put the orange on, but we didn't
We
even
didn't have it
on.
on.
So again, here I am on the tractor. It's daytime though. I'm in the back. I'm in probably the third sector this time, and pow! Did it sound like it was close? Oh no! I ain't got no orange on either. I gotta go.
Well, you was on a big orange tractor. so
Well,
you wasn't
yeah,
worried
and I thought about that too,
Yeah.
but I'm like, well, let's just go on the back and.
But all that'll become normal.
But it was
and-
just funny. It's
Yeah.
just something you think about, and it's like that's the change from the city to the country.
Right.
It's like, okay, you kept hearing and the shots rang out all day, so it's like after a while you adjust. Okay, you know what that is. It's no big deal.
You want to go find the
just keep
hunters and
moving.
hunt with them.
Well, and so you also want to know your environment
Mhm.
well enough so that you know, okay, this is normal gunfire as opposed to,
Right.
hey,
Right.
wait a minute, they're going nuts with it. Hey, it's getting closer. Hey, I better go get mine because these people acting stupid.
That's a
Right.
good statement because these shots you heard them, but you could tell it was the same distance. It was from the same spot every time. It didn't get any closer. It didn't get any farther. So it's like, to me, it was like somebody was at home target practicing.